Folders are great ways to keep things organized for your students within Schoology. Of course, many folders will come in from the template that you'll import from the district, but you may find that there are times that you just need to add extra folders, so here's how. Of course, I can use my Add Materials button, but that's going to put it at the very bottom of my page. So if I hover over my lines, my horizontal lines here, I get that green dotted line, and by doing that, it's going to put my folder right here at the very top. So when I click Add Folder, I have some choices. I'm just going to give it a name, and I can change the color of the folder if I choose to. Okay. And inside of here, this is a description. Students will be able to see this description right on the main page without opening up that folder. So anything that you put in here, they would see immediately without even having to open up what's inside of the folder. So I just have a few things that I typed into there. I'm just going to paste in kind of steps that I need them to follow for this research project. And you can see here that I have a hyperlink in there. In order to do a hyperlink, you just use this Insert Content button, and you can insert a link. And so I already typed in the URL and what I wanted the words to say. And so that's how I got that hyperlink in there. So when my students are submitting whatever their topic is going to be for their final project, then they can just click on that link, submit through the form so that I know who's doing what. The other thing that I like about, let me one more thing in there. I also like the fact that you can put images in there for the students. And again, remember though, this is going to appear right on that folder. So it kind of makes that folder a little bit bigger in the list of materials on the main page if you do add images in there. And of course, we can add things in from the Google Drive resource app, or you could put a YouTube video in there, all sorts of things. But this is, it's not really the place to put a ton of content because, like I said, it takes up a lot of space on your home page. And so we'll see what that looks like in just a moment. Down here at the bottom, folders are nice because they give you some options as far as when you want them to be available. So say you created the folder ahead of time and you didn't want it to be published necessarily right away, I could change this to say that it's unpublished at the moment. Or, here's what I like, publish on start date or publish during a date range. So these are really nice, especially when you have items that you need to get into Schoology, but you don't want the kids to see them yet, but you also don't want to have to go back later on and make them published when it's time for them to be published. If you put them inside of a folder, you can determine right now when you want it to be visible to your students. So publish on start date is just that. It's going to ask you to pick a date and a time. Notice that it says for all sections here. I can do for all sections, or I can customize my sections and do different dates for different sections. So if you've linked your courses together and one is getting a little bit further ahead of everybody else, then that's okay. All right, so I can put that in. I can put in a time that I want it to be visible. Maybe we're going to start this one at 8 o'clock in the morning, so it will be visible then. I can add an end date if I choose to, or I can just leave it published for the duration. So if I do want to customize, I can pick one section, and I can customize just that one section. So for homeroom 2, my one group, I could pick a different date for that one. So maybe they're a little bit behind and I want theirs to be visible a little bit later. Okay, and again, publish on start date. All right, the other option though is I can publish during a date range. And so in this case, it's only going to be visible from 6/2 until 6/6. Okay, and I can put, an ending time on there of, let's say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it would be visible from this date at that time to this date at that time. So in this case, I've customized by section, but again, like I said, we don't have to do that. So I really like that about folders, is that they don't have to be immediately visible to the students because maybe you've created an assessment and you want to put it into that folder, or an assignment that you don't want them to see and you just don't want to have to go back later on and make it published when the time comes. All right, so let's see what this looks like for the students when they go ahead and can view this. It's not viewable to my students yet. So, but for myself, it is. And so here's what it looks like. And this is where I was saying that you don't want to put a whole lot on the outside of the folder in that description of the folder, because it kind of starts to take up space. If you started adding in other items, like a Google Doc or a YouTube video or things, it's just going to take up more space in there. But this is an example of a folder that has an image in it, and I've scaled that image to a size that's small, so it kind of just draws attention and gives a little bit of graphics for the students if you choose to. So kind of pick and choose what you want there. And remember the hyperlink that we had, that one is already hyperlinked there, so they would just need to click on it. And now I'm ready to populate items inside of that folder. So that is creating folders. That's the same process whether it is for groups or for classes. If it's for a group though, then you don't have that publish on date option.